welcome to the final presentation for Profiteer, your favorite financial and budgeting app. I am Jacob Hoppenstedt, the project manager and also one of the front-end developers.
I'm Trevor Gross, the Scrum Master and the database developer.
I'm Nathaniel Babian. I'm a developer that worked a little bit on backend.
And I'm Drew Reisner, front-end developer.
So, the value that Profiteer brings to the table is it allows users to visualize their spending history, which is in a format that banks don't usually or almost never provide. Being able to visualize your spending history in a format that puts everything into graphs instead of only looking at lists of transactions, and it honestly, with banks looking at your bank data, it gets awfully confusing. So Profiteer bridges that gap and allows users to understand what is being taken in and put out of their bank account. Users can also set a spending limit so they can track how much they're spending throughout a given time period and use that to help them save money in the future and limit how much they're spending from their accounts. And you can also track what you're spending based on certain categories. Like if you're spending a lot of money at Walmart and you're spending a lot of money at grocery stores, then you'll know that, oh, maybe I should reduce my spending in that category.
So for some of the technical debt associated with this project, of course, we were only allotted the entirety of the spring semester, which is only about, approximately 4 months to accomplish the tasks and the different features that we wanted to get done. So unfortunately, even though we were able to get a lot of essential features prioritized and we still were able to get the meat of our website, some of the more advanced features that we wanted to implement down the line and other quality of life improvements kind of had to be scrapped to be able to meet the deadline and to really keep core functionalities. Some of these things that we were going to implement, but unfortunately at this point had to have been sacrificed, were different graphs and visualizations showing your investments, some social media connections where you can check with your friends and see, compare your financial standings and budgeting histories with them, and some recurrent payment tracking, to name a few.
Yeah, so some of our stretch goals, as just mentioned by Jacob, would be our social media one. So that way you can compare your savings against other people and compete in that way. So trying to gamify it a little bit. That would be one of our goals in the future. Also, having a glossary for different financial terms would be something we would also like to implement. And the recurring payments is something that would be useful to implement in the future because it'll allow the user to understand where their money is going month after month. So that's something we'd also like to do. And then finally, having your investment information displayed on the dashboard like your regular checking and savings is.
Alright, so now we have the presentation for the demonstration. Alright, so we're starting off on the About Us page, just so you can see how that looks, and so here's all this. And here's our home page. It's the landing page. As you can see, it's pretty fun. And if you come down here, we have some pictures and some descriptions just explaining what the website is and why you should use it. So register, test information, so create an account, Profiteer. Say password is test, and if I try and submit the form now, it'll tell me, oh, you can't, all fields must be text. And if I misspell my password here, it'll say, oh, the passwords don't match, type the password correctly. Now we're going to register, so our account's been created, and here the Plaid connection comes up, so we'll continue with that. Plaid Chase Bank, let's just say. And this is a sandbox environment, so a real bank account page would show up here in a development environment, but since we're just demonstrating, it's comparison platform this big. I was going to say our checking or savings accounts. There's support for all types of accounts here.
And Plaid is able to access this information via a series of tokens that are sent from our platform, Profiteer, to Plaid, and then that gets sent to your bank account. So all of your sensitive information remains in the contact between Plaid and your bank account, and none of it ever goes to Profiteer. Only the information that we need.
It's all kept private and secure. So here, now that we finished that, we can access the dashboard, which is the main functionality of website. And here we can see we have some notifications. And this is where it would show notifications in the future, such as if you're approaching your spending limit, or if we implemented the social media feature, some of those notifications would show up. Also, we plan on implementing a budgeting algorithm that could provide recommendations based off your income. So those would all show up there. And here we have the spending by category. And all this data comes from our backend. So it ideally would come from Plaid first, and then to our backend, and then to this dashboard. So this is just sample data we're using. But as you can see, they spend most of their money on general services in the past week. We can also switch it to a month. So they actually spend, looks like, more on general merchandise over the course of the month. As you can see here, some of the other categories. Also here we have the net income. So this is for the week. You can go through and change the ranges. It looks like I'm spending a lot of money, so looks like rough times, I guess. But anyways, so now you can enter your spending limit, which is how much you would want to, the most you would want to spend in 1 month, just according to your own needs. So for this account, it's a larger account, we'll say approximately 25,000 is the most that they want to spend in 1 month. So here we can see the graph updates, and it'll say that you spent 17,000 in the last 30 days, which is about 69% of the spending limit that you set. And here is how long you have until you reach your limit. So there's about 30% left in that budget for the limit, 25,000. So yeah, that's the main functionality of the website. Here we'll just log out. And
Awesome. Yeah, and some of the main issues with developing this platform have been getting to work with Plaid. It's been a difficult process to get everything working there, from front-end call to accessing Plaid information and putting it into our database. We have been able to access information and put in our database of like real life development environment, but for the sake of this presentation, we did not do that, just to not expose anyone. But another issue has been having just a low knowledge of JavaScript to start off with. I personally have not had any JavaScript experience before this, so it's quite difficult to just kind of jump into something as complex as this. And adding more dashboard functionality is another thing that we really want to do. Adding more charts that allow users to visualize their data in different ways and be able to keep more on top of what exactly they are spending.
Yeah, so going forward with our next steps, as we mentioned before, we would love to implement the social media functionality at some point, giving users that ability to connect with their friends, which also will increase, the widespread appeal and popularity of our app, as word of mouth spreads and people, see the use for it, especially for our younger demographic of, 20 to 30-year-old, like college age, middle-aged age people that are still trying to get their financial foot in the door. Continuing forward, we want to be able to have more functionality with budgeting and just different functions regarding that way more complex functions, because there's a lot you can do with the Plaid API and all the different transactions and a lot of information we can pull from that. Furthermore, investment integration is a big part of what we want to include. Being able to see your stocks, being able to see all your different assets that you have, whether it's stocks, crypto, really everything like that, and be able to also see the data and the visualizations associated with that. And along those same lines, the dashboard functionality is a lot more robust and complex different visualizations that we want to do down the line, especially including visualizations on the dashboard that kind of connect with the social media functionality, where you can see like, oh, you're beating Timmy this week in savings, and you can share him a little message, be like, oh, Timmy, I'm beating you. Things like that that'll all work together in conjunction with each other. And then finally, AI integration is a big part, especially with all the new recent developments. We want to be able to kind of have a chat bot, and also a like some integrations that will show the difference, like glossary terms in words. If you aren't familiar with certain terms, you can kind of ask it. You can kind of see pretty much any questions you might have, and kind of give you recommendations based on the different data that you have, which is all secured story within the database. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for where we are at so far with Profiteer. Thank you guys for joining us with this semester-long journey, and I think we all could say we learned a lot. Would you say, guys? A lot.
Definitely, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And the Scrum process, and with everything regarding that. So yeah, thank you guys.